This is the very model of a movie that is terrible. The acting and performances are really quite unbearable. There are no other movies to this one that are comparable, but we are here to try at least to make this movie bearable. There's cartoon fish and lazy puns that make you want to slap your head. For fans of Gilbert and Sullivan, sadly you have been misled. If you were hoping for some effort, sorry, there is not a shred. Just go and watch Muppet Treasure Island on repeat instead. Arr! We watched the pirate movie today on...
The f*** is this?
Okay.
Sounds good. More ASMR goodness. Give me the tinglies.
Hi. I'm gonna eat a pickle.
Awesome. Thank you, Joel.
All right. So we just gonna make more ASMR noises.
I'm gonna slowly brush my hair.
I'm just gonna click this pen.
You know what I've always wanted?
This is the opening to the episode, by the way.
You know what I've always wanted to do?
What do you want to do?
I wanted to do an ASMR, but I wanted to do it in my Kilroy voice. So
Sure.
I'm gonna slowly brush my hair.
Can you whisper in that voice?
No, he has one volume and it's loud as hell. Yeah, he's my Christian Bale meets Clint Eastwood impression.
You can do that as a little additional content. That would probably work.
Yeah,
Good Patreon
it's a good way to revive the Kilroy series.
Yeah.
Sounding good?
Sounds
Thanks a
great,
lot,
Joel.
man.
Episode.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks,
Joel.
Joel. Any parting words for us? Any well wishes?
He's like, screw you guys.
He's out here,
There we go.
yeah, it's that catchphrase that Joel says all the time that he's so well known for.
All right,
yeah.
thanks, buddy.
All right. What other hilarious characters could have ASMR videos?
Like, I just assume like the really loud ones, the ones with really grating, irritating voices.
Gilbert
Like a
Gottfried.
good, like,
Yeah.
SpongeBob
Yeah.
ASMR.
Right. Well, we'll let that question roll around in your heads for the remainder of this episode. But while it's doing that, welcome back, however you wish to self-identify, to The Fuck Is This, where we dive through DVD bins, sort through streaming apps to find the weird, the bizarre, and the unloved. It's a podcast where we watch a movie and then we talk about it. And, you know, there's a lot of other podcasts that have that exact same format.
We're not treading new ground here.
No, we're
at
not.
all.
And you might say, what new thing could you possibly bring to this podcast idea? And to that I say, how dare you? So what are you doing with your life that's so great right now? You start a podcast.
Yeah, you show us how it's done,
I'm your
Danny.
there's a guy.
My buddy Danny's really going to freak out now.
Oh yeah, there's a guy. Yeah, there's multiple Dannys right now. They're going all like, man, fuck these
I'm
guys.
switching off.
I don't need this negativity.
I'm going to Red Letter Media.
I'm just trying to, yeah. People who do this
Better.
much better than we
Higher
do
production values, yeah.
by a large margin.
We're the scrappy young underdog at this. Yeah, would you say that? Probably not.
I'd call myself scrappy. I don't know if I'd call myself young or an underdog, but I'm certainly scrappy. As anyone who has seen my apartment over the past several months have.
As in it's full of scrap?
It's full of, yeah, exactly. Well, you know, like the scrapyards are closed down currently right now.
Yeah, got to take your junk somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And
Or just leave it where it is.
people have just been leaving scrap in front of my house, and I'm all like, well, this is some good quality scrap.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just, you know, I'm slowly becoming a trash king. Because someone has to take that crown.
Move over,
right
Oscar.
now.
There's a new Grouch in town.
That's right. I read an article today that was all like, Oscar the Grouch is like kind of like a racist idea. Cause grouches are like a species on Sesame Street or whatnot.
And
I don't know.
And he's a trash person?
Yeah, he's a trash person, and I'm just like, that's...
I thought he wanted to be in the garbage can.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I thought that was his choice, and it wasn't like...
Well, he's a puppet. He has no legs. He can't go anywhere.
Maybe the garbage can are his
All right,
legs.
I always assumed that was the case. That Oscar stops right about here, and he just picks up the trash can and just kind of like bounces. No, but we've seen his feet before, right?
No,
There have been times when Oscar has been carrying, he's like wearing the trash can like that hilarious barrel when like millionaires run out of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. He definitely is mobile to
Okay.
a certain extent. Anyway, I'm Kaz Lescar. Joining me is my co-host Jameson Rafter.
That's me.
And that other melodious voice that you just heard is our very special guest. She's someone that I've been trying to get on this podcast for a very long time. She is...
You wore her down.
I just... The timing never worked out. We're finally here. We finally
After
figured
this,
it out.
you're not allowed to text me anymore.
Sure. That's
We're
right.
done. It's
yeah.
over.
Good. Oh, God. Thank Christ. Because... I was getting so tired of pretending to have friends and care about people.
Kaz, who is this lovely person?
Our guest today, she is, and hold on to your socks, listeners, because we are ripping the lid off of the terms of guests that we have on the show. She is, get this, a Vancouver-based actor. I know.
We got to have like a money jar. Every time like we get an actor on this podcast, we just put like a coin in there, and then like I could pay off my mortgage by the year's end.
Get the guests to pay us to be on the show. That's a great idea.
That's an awful idea. No one would want to. Who would pay money to be on? They would pay us to keep them off the show.
All we need is one. All we need is one, and then it's a great idea. But no, she is one of my very best friends in the entire world. Leslie Dos Remedios, thank you. Thank you for coming on and being our guest on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, the movie that we are watching today, Leslie, you wanted to do a musical.
Yeah.
And I think this was one of the ones that you suggested. I think you gave me a couple of titles to look into.
This one I found through my friend Brittany, who works for Hot Docs out in Toronto.
Hot
and so
Docs.
it's like a documentary film festival.
Yeah.
And she's a huge cinephile, and I saw her post on Instagram in her stories just the smallest snippet of this film, and I was like, the fuck is that?
Hey,
I was like,
there we go.
This looks amazing. I was like, oh, this is the one. This is the movie that I watch with Kaz.
This is whenever your instant guttural reaction is the fuck is this? Hey,
that's
Right.
why
we named the show that.
That's why that show is called that.
That's
yes.
marketing for you.
So the movie that Leslie is talking about is 1982's The Pirate Movie. Yes, buckle your swash and jolly your Roger for the funniest rock and rollicking adventure ever. And before you yell at me, Jameson, I did not come up with that. That is the actual tagline to this movie.
I'm still baffled by the title of this movie, the Pirate Movie.
It takes a lot of balls to just call yourself the definitive pirate movie. But yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason and a fascinating story. Let's call it a quasi-fascinating story behind the making of this movie, and we'll go into that. But before we do that, Leslie, this is a podcast where we watch weird, baffling, bizarre, crazy...
Fucked up movies.
What's one of the weirdest movie experiences that you've ever had?
Oh, one of the weirdest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. One of the weirdest. I've seen a lot of movies, especially pre-baby.
Mm-hmm.
This is maybe one of the weirder ones. It's not weird, because of outside influences, but weird because of my own internal awkwardness, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, we used to have a drive-in movie theater in the town I grew up in, London, Ontario.
I've never had that experience. That would have been fantastic.
It's so dope. There's one in Langley. We need to go.
Oh, that would be
so
great.
good.
Yeah, and they're having a real resurgence right now.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It's so great. Stephen and I went a few weeks ago, but we went to Brittany, this friend in Toronto.
Sure.
Her and I, back in the day, went to go see Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay. I mean, that is a weird movie.
We both have a thing about robots and things in the world that try and imitate human beings.
Sure, yeah.
Especially when they try to
You're
be
talking about
lifelike.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, that's the story. That's the whole story. No, there's just the scene when they're going into the factory and they have all those weird it's a small world sort of dolls and they're singing the song. And...
Oompa Loompas.
No, but they're little robot children.
Yeah. No, I know exactly.
Oh,
I know what
okay.
you're talking about.
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
And then they all catch on fire
Yeah.
and
Oh.
melt, and it was just Brittany and I sitting in a car at the drive-in screaming
Yeah.
at the screen.
No, I know exactly the scene you're talking about. That the sort of Chuck E. Cheese
Animatronic.
welcome to the chocolate factory is what Tim Burton put in there instead of course the iconic moment where Gene Wilder comes out and you think he's a frail old man, and then he does like the flip and everything.
Yeah.
And Tim Burton's like, what do I do? What do I replace this with?
How do we top that?
Scary robots. It does lead to what I think is the funniest joke in that entire movie when they're on like the tour later on, and like Willy Wonka's like taking them through like the different places in his factory, and then they just go through like this one place. He goes, "This is the robot burn ward. It's fairly new."
Oh yeah, I think I blocked that part out. I was like, nope, I'm good. I'm good with like the burning robot children.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He went
In a children's movie.
He went full force. I like the eyeballs fell out and everything.
and like
yeah.
those like warped voices. Wow.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Good.
Yeah. What do you think about Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
I watched it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
once.
That's about as
Let's
far
put it
as
that way.
That's about my opinion of it too. Yeah. Yeah, did not stick in the memory, despite the fact that it stayed a lot closer to the original book. Because a lot of people don't like the Gene Wilder one.
What?
Including Roald Dahl didn't like it because they
Really?
took too many liberties. It was a real kind of like Shining situation where the author doesn't really like it, but
Because I never read the book. I always just assumed...
terrifying.
I assumed the sequences with Christopher Lee as like his overbearing dentist father to Willy Wonka. I thought like, is that from the book? Or
No,
is that
no,
that's just some
Tim
unnecessary backstory?
Tim Burton put that in there because he's like, oh my god, Christopher Lee wants to continue to make movies with me, and then he just yeah. Anyway, so getting back to the pirate movie. So Jameson, I know you loved our episode on shock treatment, and I know
Oh yeah, can't get enough of that.
and I know your favorite part of that episode was watching a musical that shares so much DNA with another musical that you had never heard of before.
Yeah, and also watching it with two like diehard fans of that original musical. Oh, it was lovely being a third wheel on my own podcast.
Get ready to be that third wheel yet again. Although I
Cool.
wouldn't say either of us are diehard fans of what this movie is somewhat based on, because the pirate movie is pretty much a direct ripoff of the classic Gilbert. I almost said 19. The classic 1982 Gilbert and Sullivan opera. No, I don't know what year that came from. Way back. But but it's based on the Pirates of Penzance, which, even if you've never seen an operetta or even just a musical in your life, you know what that is.
Yeah, I have seen an adaptation of it because a buddy of mine in high school was in a high school production of it. So we all.
Oh, so you have all
watched
the context you need to watch this movie, then.
I mean, this was back in high school. I really don't remember much. I remember
You have all the
I
context
am the
you
very
need.
model of something Major General.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like the time I thought I had read Frankenstein, but really I just watched that episode of Wishbone.
It's basically the same thing. That's like cramming before a test.
Yeah.
Wishbone was very detail oriented. It was if you were like in elementary school and you had to do a book report and you didn't read the book but you watched the episode of Wishbone, you'd probably get like a C+. You get a passing grade. Not too bad,
Yeah, I mean the Wishbone books were in the school library. They are resources.
Your teacher, like under like the mark and everything like that. And it's all like, I don't quite get the part where Victor Frankenstein is a Jack Russell Terrier, but you got everything else.
You grade that kid on a
Yeah.
curve.
Like your work.
Speaking of Tim Burton, do you remember the Wishbone episode of Sleepy Hollow where
No.
where
Yes.
Wishbone is Ichabod Crane and he fucking dies at the end?
No,
He dies in a couple of
Yeah,
those
Wishbone.
episodes.
Yeah, that was a TV show that was not afraid to kill a dog multiple times.
Good shit.
lovely.
Yeah. But no, Pirates of Penzance and other Gilbert and Sullivan things are it's just sort of like steeped into our culture. Even if you had, I know a lot of Gilbert and Sullivan stuff because my mom loves Gilbert and Sullivan to this day. She listens to it all the time. So I grew up with that in the car a bunch. I saw local theater productions of Gilbert and Sullivan stuff. I don't think I've ever been in a Gilbert and Sullivan, but like I've seen like a lot of people do them over the years. But even if I didn't have that context, you would still know, people of our age would still know what it is through, like pop culture. There's that amazing joke in The Simpsons where they get Sideshow Bob to sing the entire score of HMS Pinafore before he kills Bart.
What never, no never, what never, hardly ever, hardly ever sink at sea.
Animaniacs did a fantastic Gilbert and Sullivan episode.
I am the very model of a cartoon individual. My animation's comical, unusual, and whimsical. I'm quite adept at funny guess comedic theory. I have read from wicked puns and stupid jokes to anvils that drop on your head.
That, let me tell you, long division, like the long division that I learned from like high school, completely gone from my brain. The lyrics to the Animaniacs parody of Pirates of Penzance, still here, baby. I can still hum that if I want to.
There's a character in the Mass Effect series who's like a very eccentric scientist type who has a bit of a motor mouth, and he mentions that he was in theater productions and he would always be given the patter songs.
I am the very model of a scientist Solarian. I've studied species Turian, Asari, and Batarian. I'm quite good at genetics as a subset of biology because I am an expert, which I know is a tautology.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are countless modern Major General parody songs. It's just you pick
It's even like a line that they throw back to in Hamilton now.
Yeah. But yeah, you pick any topic and you just take all of the big words and you just smush them together and say them really fast. And basically, that's the Major General song. You just have to like hit the beats and everything.
You sang a solo.
I did when we were in
When
we were in theater school. I did the Major General. That is correct. Yes.
You had a very funny hat.
But the reason that the pirate movie exists. So I'll get into this right now. So for some weird reason, in the early 80s, producers assumed that audiences had pirate fever because there were multiple pirate productions
They
being
had
like
scurvy?
They had scurvy was rampant across the film-going audiences there.
In the 80s.
Well, but this happens like constantly where Hollywood producers assume that like pirates are a hot thing and they try to like make it like a thing. Like they tried again in the mid-90s with Cutthroat Island and that did not work. It only ever really worked in 2003 when
With
they
the
did
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, and for some reason that hit.
Well, because the first movie was
talking about
genuinely
Johnny Depp
fun.
again?
Yeah, we're talking about Johnny. This is just going to be
The
like,
Depp cast.
yeah, oh God, let's not. How about that? How about this? Let's not do that. But we got a real deep impact Armageddon situation going on here because the pirate movie is not only birthed from Pirates of Penzance, but it was actually in direct confrontation with the Pirates of Penzance. So in 1981, there was this massively successful Broadway revival of Pirates of Penzance. It was produced by Joseph Papp. It won 3 Tonys, including one for its breakout star, Mr. Kevin Kline.
Oh, okay.
Who did not have a film career before that. This was this was a real big break for him. It also starred Linda Ronstadt, Rex Smith, and Estelle Parsons. The show ran for several years, seeing lots of revolving cast members. Among the actors to take on the role of the Pirate King from Kevin Kline was one Jim Belushi.
Oh.
That
so this is sort of like the waning days of the show on Broadway.
Yes, that doesn't really have anything to do much with what we're talking about today. I found that on Wikipedia, and I just wanted to put that out into the universe.
Happy, didn't it?
Yes, at one point in time, Jim Belushi was on Broadway in the Pirates of Penzance. I just wanted you to remember, at one point in time, that was the reality that we all lived in.
Thank God I was born in 86. Must have completely missed that boat.
Yeah. So yeah, that Broadway production was like super successful, and then Universal Pictures announced they were going to turn that show into a movie version of the official movie version of Pirates of Penzance. But 20th Century Fox decided, you know what? We're going to beat them to the punch. We're going to put our own pirate movie into production. And the pirate movie, which is sort of like a comical send-off of Pirates of Penzance. It has basically the exact same plot, but it's a little more 80s. It's a little more, dare I say it, meta.
Okay.
And they put this into production, and it got out a full 6 months before the official Pirates of Penzance movie, which came out in the same year, had all of the original Broadway cast, except Estelle Parsons was replaced by Angela Lansbury. Both films did horrible. There was no clear winner. There was no A Bug's Life to this ants. They both lost a shitload of money.
Yeah, whoever won, we, the audience, lost.
Until now.
Until now, yeah, we're all winning tonight.
We could have found some buried treasure here.
So the pirate movie is really the brainchild of one guy, an actor named Ted Hamilton, who on his Wikipedia page he is credited as an Australian singer, composer, playwright, entrepreneur, and actor. Big deal, this guy. Big deal. He's one of those people where this is like a real cultural thing. No one over here has heard of him. In Australia,
he's a big deal.
He's huge.
Okay.
Like he's been huge for a multitude of reasons. He got really big on an Australian TV show called Division 4, which was a police drama series he was on from 1969 to 1973. He was also the founder of the TV Make It Australian Committee, which was a lobby group that pushed to have Australian culture represented by local productions on Australia TV stations.
Oh, cool.
So kind of the same basic idea that CBC has, was all like, we need to have this much Canadian content at all times. Prime Minister John Gorton called him the man that saved Australian drama from extinction. So big deal here. He was also...
No, for real. Good for him.
He did several huge commercials in Australia. He hosted variety programs called Ted Hamilton's New Wave and Ted Hamilton's Musical World. And and he is the executive producer of this movie, and he plays the Pirate King. Doesn't have
no one else could have done this.
No one else could have done. No, this was the main. I have a feeling this was the main reason he wanted to get this into production, so he could play a version of the Pirate King. If they weren't going to let him be the version of the Pirate King,
I'm gonna make my own pirate movie with blackjack and hookers.
You're actually not that far off from what this movie actually is. So yeah,
I'm just spurned in the audition process. It's like, don't they know who I am? Crikey!
I'm Ted Hamilton. God damn it! The Prime Minister said I was the man who saved Australian drama. He doesn't say that about anyone.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll get a quote. You want a quote from the Prime Minister? Hold on, I'll get a quote from the Prime Minister. Aye, Barry!
Oh, mate, what's the good word? Like most people, most of my knowledge from Australia has come from that one episode of The Simpsons.
Hey, tying it back. Gilbert and Sullivan, there we go. It's a prescient show for a reason. So the Pirate movie is directed by Ken Annakin. He is a massively successful British director of over 50 films, including earnest World War II dramas like The Longest Day and Battle of the Bulge, and children's literature adaptations like Swiss Family Robinson and The New Adventures of Pippi Longstocking. He also directed a movie that I remember seeing when I was a kid that has, hands down, one of the top movie titles, period, of any movie
Even
I've ever
better
heard.
than the pirate movie?
It is a movie called Those Magnificent Men in Their
Flying
Machines, or How I Flew from London to Paris in 25 Hours, 11 Minutes.
Holy shit, I've seen that movie. That was like one of the first movies that my mom and my dad let me stay up late and watch with them. Because my folks kind of raised me on these, like, it's a mad, 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 mad world.
Yes,
and like,
yeah.
Like,
same basic idea.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, it's kind of a British mad world.
Yeah, from what
just
I
like
remember.
a bunch of people in like wacky dirigibles, and it's like, aha, Henry, around the world.
I remember there's this one actress who plays multiple roles in the movie, and like this one guy keeps running into her and like mistaking her for someone who he just met like in the prior scene, and it's always a different woman, and like, I thought that's a weird running gag. Yeah. Talking about things that have taken up real estate in my brain and will never go away. I've seen that movie exactly once. Couldn't tell you anything about the movie itself. I still remember to this day that the theme song is Those Magnificent Men in Their Flying Machines. They go up, up, they go down, down. Yeah.
Once. I saw that movie once, and I have never forgotten that song.
Yeah.
I'm so glad someone else has actually seen that.
No, story checks out. I got your back on this, cast.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
Not making it up.
Both lines. I don't believe you.
That's what we do. We invite people onto the show and then we lie to their faces. So yeah, Leslie, you said in preparation for this, you watched a version of Pirates of Penzance?
Yeah, like I don't know, I guess it was the...
Was it the Kevin
Angela
Kline one?
Lansbury one? Yeah, I guess so. And like, I didn't do any research.
That's fine. I barely did any.
I'd be intimidated if you did.
When I say I've done research, I copy down the Wikipedia page and then I change some of the reflective words.
Yeah.
That's not even oh, right, great.
We run a tight ship here.
We're running a real tight ship here as I knock the microphone and use a word that isn't the word I want to use to describe.
You don't get this kind of content on How Did This Get Made.
I don't see anything
No,
wrong
those
with
people, they know how to string a sentence together. They know what words mean.
Professionalism, get the fuck out of here.
I'm still shocked the fact that I host a podcast despite the fact I am
people who know me, they can charitably say I'm one of the worst talkers. Just in general, I can't. It's so hard for me to get words out. But Pirates of Penzance.
Yes. Oh, what was the question? I forget now.
It wasn't so much a question as more of you watched it.
Oh, I clicked through it on YouTube.
which is how we watch movies now.
Yeah. I mean, like I was saying to Kaz right before we started, I was like, I thought it was in the 70s, but I guess it was also in 82, made in 82. And I was like, I don't think they tried to hide the fact at all that it was like the 70s or like in that era. Like they all had like these little like afros and like tie-dye bandanas and like, I'm a pirate.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, yeah.
Velour suits and like huge mustaches.
Oh,
and everything.
totally. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's, I don't know.
Well, get ready for a big old second helping of that. Because that's
really
basically exactly what the pirate movie is.
I feel like this is like the 80s version. You remember when like all those movies back in like the early 2000s came out that was like, not another teen movie, scary movie. Mm-hmm. It's like that, but it's like pirate movie.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was
feels in that genre.
Yeah, except this is much better than those.
So who's in this pirate movie called The Pirate Movie?
Not a whole hell of a lot of people. There aren't any like big names that went on to like do anything.
Ted Hamilton is in
Ted
it.
Hamilton.
Yeah.
That's really the only name you need is Ted Hamilton.
Yeah. Oh, I'm certainly going to know the name Ted Hamilton before the night is over.
Was he the actual bassist to the musical Hamilton? We may never know.
No, Alexander Hamilton was the bassist of the musical.
Not in the Australian version.
Ah, true.
What's
Hamilton presents Hamilton, the Ted Hamilton story.
What's Ted a nickname for?
Theodore? I think so.
Theodore Hamilton. My name is Theodore Hamilton. The Prime Minister's my best friend. That is true. Anyway,
nice rap.
Keeping that in. So, not really names. The two lead actors in this movie are Christy McNichol, who is best known from the sitcom Empty Nest. I thought I knew who Christy McNichol was, and then I looked on her IMDb, and just no movies or projects or anything were ringing my bell in my head. I thought it was Christy Swanson.
Oh, okay.
Another famous Hollywood Christy. But no, this is the 80s Christy. Yes, Christy, not Kirsty. God, I gotta get away from... I should take my hat off when I do this because I keep knocking the fucking microphone. Yeah, so yeah, she plays the female lead, and the male lead is an actor named Christopher Atkins. Now, the only really notable thing about Christopher Atkins is he had a run of movies in the early 80s from 1980 to 1983. He starred in 3 movies that were sort of universally agreed on as the worst movies of those decade. And those were the first 3 movies that he starred in, and his career never got better or worse than that. But the first 3 movies...
The real kind of Taylor Kitsch syndrome.
Well, he was a real favorite of the Golden Raspberry Awards, which we're gonna mention. We're gonna talk about a little bit later because, unsurprisingly, this movie was nominated for several Razzies. But Christopher Atkins was an actor that the Razzies were particularly fond of. The first 3 movies in his career, his first film was 1980's The Blue Lagoon with Brooke Shields.
I remember that.
Yeah, 2 kids grow up on an island, and then when they get older, they realize they want to bang, and Brooke Shields is naked for most of it. Yeah, he's the other guy in that.
Okay.
That movie's not good. Then he did the pirate movie, and then he did a movie in 1983 called A Night in Heaven, which is directed by John Avildsen, director of Desert Heat.
Oh, okay.
And other unimportant
Sounds
films.
real blue, is all I'm saying.
And A Night in Heaven.
But it was really just an evening in hell to watch.
I can guarantee you, like, the reviewers back in time, that was like the opening, like, log line that they worked with.
Yeah.
But no, A Night in Heaven is a movie about a high school student who moonlights as a male stripper and has an affair with his teacher.
Oh, it is a little blue.
Oh, it's very blue, yes. Yeah, he liked to do sexy movies. Christopher Atkins was a
Like
real
the Pirate
sexy...
movie.
Yeah, it was a real sexy... I'm going to wager, and this might be a little disappointing for you both, that the Pirate movie is probably his least sexy movie out of the 3. three of them.
Worse.
Yes.
Well, we're just going to have to see how sexy it is, though.
Yeah,
You know,
but
'cause,
there
like,
are no...
I mean, like, it's the least sexy, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be sexy, right?
Could be, you know, like,
Depends
different...
what you're into.
Different
Yeah.
things turn different people on, so you know who. And you know what? There's really only one way to tell, and that is to stop what we're doing and go watch the pirate movie, and we'll let you know what happens
In that pirate movie.
after the break. Stay tuned, mateys.
Arravast, set sail
Ah,
for adventure and hilarity.
Keyhole them and parrots and doubloons and.
Blunderbusses.
Yes, and
Donkey Kong
Off the
Country
plank
2.
with you.
yes. That's my favorite game. Captain K. Rool. Arr.
Stay tuned. Donkey Kong Country 2.
Hey everyone, it's Kaz, and it's time for a charity shout out, and today I'm shouting loudly about the Federation of Black Canadians. In their own words, this national organization works to advance the interests of Canadians of African descent. They focus on community building, higher education, health, economic security, reducing racism, and criminal justice reform. Black communities across Canada are diverse, resilient, creative, and multifaceted. For the first time in Canada's history, there are over 1 million Black Canadians who call Canada home. With that number projected to double by 2036, the Federation of Black Canadians are working hard to partner with people and organizations across Canada to advance the interests of Black Canadians. They want to ensure that as communities grow, opportunities are unlocked that will help build a promising future, building on and celebrating diverse heritages, histories, cultures, and contributions to Canada. To learn more, visit fbcfcn.ca, and to make either a one-time or a monthly donation, visit fbcfcn.com/general_donation. Once again, that is fbcfcn.nationbuilder.com/general_donation.
Kaz, do you want to like take your hat off or spin it backwards so you're not bumping the...
That is
Great
bandana
idea.
cat. You know what?
I'm a learning robot.
You know what? The hat is off.
Bandana cat.
All-
The hat is off.
Hats off to you, Kaz.
It's 10:30 and the hat is
coming up.
Casual Kaz comes out on Saturday night.
That's right. When
Well,
hat-
if there ever was a time for a bandana cast to come back, it would be for the pirate movie.
Yes, it's
yeah.
true.
Hats off to
I kinda want my
Pirates the
pirate-
movie or whatever the fuck it was.
The
pirate movie.
No, Pirates the movie is that.
that claymation
That
one?
claymation one,
Yeah.
which also had a not terribly inventive name. It's just all like they made this entire movie and they just all like it's like all right, well we like filmed like 5 seconds of the movie today. They got to the end and was like, damn, what are we going to call this movie?
Did we ever give this movie a name?
You know, it's like it's the Pirates movie. and
That was the
whatnot.
working title. Then
Yeah.
we're like, it's on all the work already. Let's
We're
just
not going to
do it.
get better than that. Actually, the actual name of that movie is because it's based on like a British children's book. So the actual name of that movie is "The Pirates in an Adventure with Scientists," which is objectively a pretty goddamn good title for a movie.
It
I
says
gotta
it-
admit.
Yeah, there's no ambiguity right
No,
there.
there's
You're guessing exactly what you want. Out of it.
everything on the tin. Yeah.
Unlike the pirate movie.
I don't know. It was a movie.
Yes,
There
it was.
were a significant amount of pirates in it. I think I'm sold. Yeah.
It just wasn't what I was expecting.
What were you expecting, Jameson?
I have no idea. Like a swash. I mean, it's a swashbuckling adventure.
There was lots of
you know
buckles
what
were
it-
swashed.
Two thoughts came to my mind while watching this. It's framed very much like The Princess Bride, like set in the modern time, but like keeps cutting to like the fantasy world.
Yeah.
And well, not keeps cutting back and forth to it, but like there is like the present day, you know, the modern age, and then it swings heavily to.
It's
the
framed
fantasy
more
world.
like a Bugs Bunny cartoon, I'd say. Someone gets hit
lot
on
of
the
winks
head early
to the
on, and then
audience.
and then it's like it literally goes, and now we're in now we're in the dream world. Yeah.
But the other thing that crossed my mind was this movie does for Pirates of Penzance what Blazing Saddles did for westerns.
It just does it very bad.
Yeah, I'll-
Very badly.
It doesn't quite do it, but like
It tries.
tributes.
It thinks it can do it.
No. What this movie is this is an adaptation of Pirates of Penzance, written by someone that thinks Pirates of Penzance is fucking lame.
And you know it.
And I can do so much better. I'll just like throw in like all of like these visual sight gags and puns among puns among puns.
And they're all groaners that you really have to think about.
This is what I was thinking about it for the whole movie. I'm like, what is this like? What is this like? And I finally wrote down, this comedy is like a minefield of just randomly planted like bombs, as opposed to something where like really strategically planned out and like hits every single time. This one's like, something's gonna hit
Sure.
someone eventually. Right?
Yeah.
It's a field of landmines of a movie.
Yeah.
Like you throw a bunch out of there. Not all of them are going to go off the way you want them to, but the ones
They're there.
The ones that go off, boy, do they explode.
Yeah. So, like, where do we begin with this movie?
All right.
I mean,
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely slightly befuddled. Well, I guess like the first place we can start off with is
The beginning?
that
Yeah, like,
opening.
what-
Let's start at the top.
Yeah, with that banger of an opening pirate and like an upbeat pirate hair metal song.
And like that is exactly what I anticipated from the pirate movie. And like I said, I didn't watch this movie ahead of time. I did not really any research at all. And
It
so
wouldn't have helped.
that's exactly what I expected it to be. And then the twist, the opening twist, I did not see coming.
Yeah. So the movie opens with the opening credits, and we see the pirates on the ship, and they're doing pirate things, and they're fighting.
It's a battle scene at sea,
Yeah.
and it's like the production values are through the roof with this.
It really is. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like good miniature work in there, and they set like the ship on fire, and we can see it go down, and we think, we're in for like a good old swashbuckling
High seas adventure. Yeah,
Huge ensemble number.
Yeah. And then it pans out, and we're watching this on a TV screen, and surprise, we're actually in modern day 1981. I don't know,
Miami?
Yeah. And there's just like a pirate week happening down at the marina,
As there are.
Yeah.
as you do. Yeah.
Right? And marinas around the world.
Yeah. I mean, every time the tall ships come sailing through my hometown of Steveston, it's a big deal. And everyone kind of congregates in Steveston, and the
Dresses
beach
up like pirate.
dresses up like a pirate. They go have like little walking tours on those tall ships.
We did that, right? We did like a Steveston gig once, right? Where we all had to like dress up.
Oh, I wasn't
and,
part
like,
of that
Oh
one.
no!
I was busy
Okay.
that week.
That was like a
It
bunch.
was
Yeah.
like Marino week. I can't remember what it
Yeah,
was.
but you were in like the group email
Oh, yeah.
that heard about that. And yeah, we weren't dressed as pirates, but we were dressed as like
it was
nautical.
nautical themed.
Yeah. And they're just like, you're actors, you can improvise. And I got out there, I was in like my dress whites, and then I go up to people and I'm like, haha, and I tried improvising for like 10 seconds. And then I realized two things. One, no one wants to talk to me. Two, I have no idea about nautical terms. I got nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing going on here.
Did a platoon of bikini babes march in unison up to you at any point during this sequence?
I mean, no more than they usually do in my regular day-to-day life.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens in this movie. Like, so these bikini babes show up at Pirate Week, and they're watching this young man give like a demonstration on sword fighting, and all the bikini babes are accompanied by Mabel.
They're one
They're
gross
lackey.
friend.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
who-
know she's gross because she wears glasses.
She looks like Garth from Wayne's World.
She actually does. She's wearing glasses. She's wearing like a big flannel pullover, and she's
I genuinely thought she was a boy when I first saw her.
yeah, but she's like the one nerdy friend. I mean, here's the first question we have of many questions that I'm sure we'll have with this movie: is were those her friends, or was she just in the same proximity as all of these hot bikini babes?
Well, I mean, if we're going based on like the fantasy that's about to happen, they are her sisters, I guess.
Okay, but I mean, like, we don't need to get like super literal with like the framing device because yes, this is. I'm trying to think of if there's like another better example, because you said Princess Bride, but the thing about this framing device is that it's more like Wizard of Oz. because all the characters that show up in the I mean, it's literally Wizard of Oz. Now that I've said that, wow, that is blatant.
That makes way more sense. Yeah.
Like, it's a tried and true, like, movie trope, right?
Yeah, but we spend time with the characters in Kansas in The Wizard of Oz before we get to see them in their Oz versions. Whereas
That's
in this
true,
movie, there's like, you know, a 10-second interaction with an ice cream vendor and a street musician who looks like Stevie Wonder, and then like we don't learn their names at all, but they're prominent characters in the dream world.
Prominent-ish.
One is.
Yeah, one of them
extras,
is. Yeah,
Sure, fine.
But so modern day 80s Mabel, nerd Mabel, sees this sword fighting demonstration, and for some reason the hunky sword instructor, to coin your phrase, takes a shine to her.
I was holding my tongue through all that.
You knew that was coming, but
love that phrase.
Yeah, and he invites her, like he clearly has like a thing for her, and he invites her to like go hang out on his boat, and he invites all of her Babelicious friends to go with him. And of course, while she's going on a McDonald's run, they all...
She's like their secretary? Or what?
Well, no, she's just the nerd. She's just the pushover. She's the nerdy friend that...
I genuinely think she's their pimp.
She's the manager.
Yeah. Handles all the money.
Yeah. But yeah, they all sort of like kidnap the hunky guy, and they sail off with him, and she is forced to rent a boat on her own and sail
the stormy seas after them,
rather than, I don't know, just go home. I mean, it sucks that happened, but you know, read the room.
Yeah.
Probably.
Don't risk your life over some guy you just met.
This is exactly. This is a guy you've had like a 5-minute interaction with.
So just to paint the picture, she's approaching with literal armfuls of like McDonald's, and these like mean hot girls like take the McDonald's and like push the boat away and like push her away from the boat and sail away.
This is a minor detail, but it really bothered me. I don't think they had the McDonald's license, because all the fast food bags are just plain nondescript white bags.
Yeah.
So I think they just secretly filmed in front of a McDonald's,
guerrilla filmmaking
but they weren't
style.
allowed to go into the McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Get off our premises. You need a permit to shoot here. So she chases after them at sea, and she swept off her boat and washes ashore on like what we assume is like a deserted island, and then the dream sequence starts.
Right.
Yeah.
So the entire movie is a dream sequence inside Mabel's head, and it's basically just the plot of Pirates of Penzance, but with a little more winking acknowledgement that is what's going on.
Literal winking.
Yes. Yeah. Turning to the camera, big, bold, like, do you get it?
Yeah.
Do you get it yet?
Yeah. Maybe a sound effect.
But also in her wildest fantasy, her life is not too different than what it is. Like she gets ignored by all of her sisters, and in her wildest fantasy, she's not the central character. The sword fighting instructor is Frederick.
Well, okay, I think the implication that this movie sets out is that Mabel, like the entire movie, is like her half in, half out consciousness. Her lungs are filled with seawater, and like the last thing she's doing as she's slipping out of consciousness is she is casually remembering the plot of Pirates of Penzance, which she must have seen at some point, because she does share the same name as the main character from that. Right.
Okay,
and she was just at a pirate-themed day. So clearly she left the house to go there because she's
into pirates?
She's into pirates.
Yeah.
she must be.
It's
She's
Pirate
the
Week.
person
You know,
that
it's
these movies are made for.
Yeah, it's the most important time of the year.
Now, what might have helped that
My
theory?
favorite holiday.
Pirate Week.
Talk Like a Pirate Day. Like, what are you going to do? I was originally going to see if we could record this episode on Talk Like a Pirate Day. That's in September. We got to do our Halloween episodes then, unfortunately. So, yeah,
Remember
we're not.
when Facebook used to have that, like, pirate
Yep,
language?
sure do. That didn't get annoying super fast. Yeah. But, like, this theory I have that, her fantasy is her kind of half remembering the Gilbert and Sullivan show, like, that might be backed up if at any point they referenced the Pirates of Penzance, but they never do.
They said Pirates of Penzance at one point. Like, they actually say the name of the movie. or the name of the
They
play.
do, because the pirates within the dream sequence are literally the pirates. They're from Penzance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Title drop.
And speaking of those pirates, they're a jolly merry bunch, aren't they?
Oh, okay. It's obviously a product of the 80s, like, that kind of homophobia for laughs and, like, ooh, let's give each other kisses on the cheek and be naughty.
There was only, like, just a little smattering of that. They didn't go have it. Yeah.
Like racism, a little bit of like for comedy, like that sort of era,
just
right?
a bit, just like they took the gay panic and the racism and the misogyny and the rape jokes, and they kind of like they put it in like a perfume bottle, and they just kind of did like a light misting of all of it.
Thought, hey,
it's not heavy on anything, but
Blazing Saddles seems to be able to get away with these kind of jokes, so like why can't we?
You know, but I do have to. Overall, though, I have to appreciate Mabel as a character.
She was great.
She had some great moments.
Christy McNichol is the best actor in this. She's actually she's remarkably charming. She has
a fun character. She's really cute.
The
in this
writing
movie,
of the character.
She has good comic
really
timing.
Strong. Her feminist ideals, I think, were really. Really played well against the rest of the bullshit in this movie.
Yeah. On the other side of that coin is Frederick, probably the worst fucking actor.
Man, look, I don't agree with a lot of the things the Golden Raspberries say. They were right on the money. Christopher Atkins is one of the worst actors I've ever seen.
Really.
Wow, he's terrible.
He is and he's just so lame. Like, he's whiter than Luke Skywalker, this guy.
He is. He's the lamest fucking white guy you've ever... The one black pirate calls him a honky, and it's just like, that is the honkiest fucking dude I've ever seen in my life.
Dictionary definition of a honky.
Without a doubt.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's so
and like
cringy.
He was only cast because of his looks, because for some reason that was the definition of like an 80s hunky leading mad type. But he can't act. He has no comic timing.
He can't sing.
And he can't sing. He was actually dubbed by the film's screenwriter.
Really?
Oh.
Yes, and he did not know that until the premiere.
Oh.
Apparently. And apparently he did not care.
Like, I mean, I'm shocked that in Hollywood, like, that he couldn't make it as an actor, because there's so many good-looking actors out there who can't act.
Yes.
Who are incredibly successful. And I was like, he is like perfect for that mold, but like he couldn't make it work.
No.
He could not make it work.
No, there's not really a single scene that he really
And
nails. He's kind of just like floundering
and
in the
I can't
background
quite
for all
put
of it.
my finger on it, like what it was that didn't work for me. That I was
He's
like,
got like
ooh.
weird Travolta energy to him.
Like Travolta energy, but weirder.
But I mean like Travolta, like Travolta at the Oscars where he's awkwardly touching Idina Menzel's face energy.
Oh,
Not like the 70s Grease heartthrob Travolta energy.
Yeah, he really lacks
comeback.
that. He lacks that Ted Hamilton
Yes.
screen presence and charm.
I mean, at least like Ted Hamilton, like as cheesy as he was, like totally leaned into the self-awareness.
Sure. I mean, yeah, Ted Hamilton's not a great actor either, but he kind of worked better in this material. Like, you can clearly, like, every scene he's in, he gives off this vibe of, I'm the producer, and I'm kind of trying.
Yeah.
It was a big, like, fuck you kind of energy. I'm here, so deal with it.
Yeah.
I feel like the guy playing Frederick was a little bit, like, actually trying. I was actually trying. I'll just say that. Was actually trying.
Yeah. But, like fucking Ted Hamilton, like, makes references to the fact that, like, he's got a big dick and he takes his shirt off and flexes for, for a 2-minute scene and, like...
I think there was, like, a joke where someone says, like,
You'll be hung!
Oh, I am. Very well, thank you.
There was a lot of dick
of
and
money.
balls, like, references in this whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't go for the obvious cannonball joke. I feel like that
Come
was
on,
like
Kaz,
right
that's too
there.
obvious.
It's the most obvious movie I've ever seen.
You know, maybe we missed it.
It's called The Pirate Movie. Like, they couldn't even...
Maybe it's somewhere on the poster. I don't know.
So, okay, to run down the plot is basically to kind of retell the Coles Notes version of Pirates of Penzance.
Yeah.
So, Frederick was like an orphan, like his parents died, and he became the ward of the Pirate King, and he signed a contract that said...
I'm in your service, dude, until, like, I'm 21 or
until my 21st birthday.
Yeah.
which is a plot point and will come back importantly later. So on his 21st birthday, he says, cool, my contract is done, I'm not a pirate anymore, and furthermore, I'm going to make it my life's mission to kill all of you, which seems like a lapse in logic, really.
It
given
really
his,
does, yeah.
his current real estate, meaning currently on the pirate ship.
Yeah, surrounded by the pirates, saying to all of them, oh, thanks for raising me, you guys. You've given me a purpose. You've given me a life of adventure. I'm also going to kill you. Not the best, not a keen strategist, this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's cast aside.
He walks the plank and he gets his little rowboat.
Yeah, because Pirate King is like somewhat honorable and will like allow him to like, well, if you can survive on your own, so be it. Like, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to leave you
Not
for dead.
help you, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that's a theme from the Gilbert and Sullivan thing.
Yeah.
The pirates are scoundrels, but they are honorable scoundrels.
So they don't kill orphans.
Yeah. Do you see what I was saying earlier, where this movie really wants to be a sex comedy, but it's kind of weirdly chaste.
Well, I said that early on. I was like, is this some weird, like, sex comedy in disguise?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the poster would have you believe that, because the poster is the two... Oh, I hit the microphone
Jesus,
again.
You can't escape your fate.
Oh, my Lord. This is going to be the worst episode for people to listen to. Like, every, 5 minutes, their earphones are just going to blow out. But yeah, the pirates, they're wrapped in, a pirate flag, and it's kind of sexy a little bit. And yeah, you can tell that they're maybe trying to sell this as, 80s sex comedy, but you go to it, it's not particularly sexy. There's not really any sort of, naughty, there's no bums or anything. There's no flesh in this at all.
It's not a fleshy movie.
It's not a fleshy movie at all.
Except for that one part where, Frederick's, running around in his tighty-whities.
Well, he's always in a state of undress, but that's he just came off of the Blue Lagoon. That's what he was known for.
I see.
That's probably entirely why he got hired in this
Casper's
role.
looks.
So, we just need someone to,
hot body.
constantly be shirtless and, running down the
The most
beach.
flesh you see is Ted Hamilton flexing
Oh, yeah.
for about 3 uncomfortable minutes.
And hey, if you're into, buff, leathery Australian dudes in their 40s, Ted Hamilton's got you covered.
Look no further. Yeah. So
why did you touch yourself when you said look no further? You're kind of all hey ladies, right here.
I don't know. Nervous twitch.
Or was it a Freudian slip?
Oh, maybe. Anyway,
Ted Hamilton's a mirror into your future.
Oh, hey, if I look like that, and
not
I'm
too bad. You know what? Not too bad.
I'm in my 40s looking like that, and if I'm a pirate king, hey,
you gotta get that
something right.
You gotta get that back tattoo now.
Yeah, really. So Frederick, he spots Mabel's sisters doing their beach antics, having a beach day,
the classic parasol.
Yeah,
swirling
dance,
the parasol,
beach dance.
and we should
towards the water,
and
facing at nothing to no one.
We should mention at this point we've now gotten 2 full-ish songs that are directly ripped from Gilbert and Sullivan. We've gotten the Pirate King song that Ted Hamilton kind of sings. He's doing a bit of a Rex Harrison thing where he's kind of talking through a lot of it.
And it is a glorious thing to be the Pirate King. I am the Pirate King. And it is a glorious thing to be the Pirate King.
Which is weird because, as I said earlier, when you go on Wikipedia, the first thing it says is Ted Hamilton is an Australian singer. That's out of the many things he does, he has singer listed first.
Is he though?
I have a feeling Ted Hamilton probably wrote his own Wikipedia page. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure no one, there were no musical theater actors hired for this film.
Didn't seem like
no. One of the first, big dance numbers. You watch some of those pirates doing a jig in the background.
Yeah,
they're all out of time with each other.
Yeah.
They're all. Doing
the choreography got better as the movie went on.
Those
because
officers at the end
halfway through the production,
highlighted.
they decided we got to fucking hire a choreographer on this.
They only decided halfway through the filming.
To be perfectly fair,
crossfades like an 80s music video can only carry you so far in this movie.
To be perfectly fair, I would imagine one of the harder places to stage choreography would be on a moving pirate ship. maybe not the easiest play.
I'm
You
sorry,
are constantly
Kaz,
in.
Do you think that the boat was actually moving when they were
How
filming?
else would they get those shots?
Yeah.
I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah.
Clearly, they built an actual life-size replica of the pirate ship.
And shot out at sea, which is notoriously expensive to do, and why a lot of movies don't do it.
Yep. Movies in the past have done that. Roman Polanski famously has a huge bomb that, again, is literally a movie just called Pirates that he shot with Walter Matthau. And on the production of that, they actually built like a giant, like $1 million like pirate ship. They're like fully working and everything. That at the end of the movie, they just like moored and it became like a tourist trap because they couldn't do anything else with that.
Yeah, but I'm Ted Hamilton, damn it, and I want my ship out at sea.
And that, of course, is the worst thing that Roman Polanski ever did. Anyway, moving on. So and then
Frederick goes to shore and he meets up with Mabel.
The sisters do their song from Pirates of Penzance and they spin their parasols around.
And this is where I'm saying, obviously they're not musical theater people, because now, even if that thing was shot on a moving ship, they're no longer on a moving ship.
No, but they're
and
on
the choreography
sand.
Was...
Sand is like the second hardest place to stage choreography.
That's such bullshit.
It's
well, I mean,
number
like,
one
they weren't
ship,
even
number two.
moving their legs, like they couldn't even sway in time with each other.
Yeah,
it was.
No,
it was
a lot of the
tough,
timing was off. Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, it was very much, I think, in the tone of Gilbert and Sullivan for me. Like that whole really cheesy kind of. Like, we're sweet sisters.
And also, and that's a good, if for anyone listening who is not versed in Gilbert and Sullivan and all, not saying that I am, but like, Gilbert and Sullivan is not high art. Gilbert and Sullivan is very much popular entertainment for the time. You know, it was, I don't think anyone really considered it low brow. Maybe some people, maybe some critics did.
It was like old-timey.
Broad is the right word for it, yes.
It was old-timey sitcom, essentially.
Okay. I really picked up on that vibe. There's like a old-timey, not wholesomeness, but like broad humor.
It was populist entertainment, is what it was. It was appealing to the masses, and that's why it was wildly popular.
Gotcha.
It was the MCU of its day.
Gotcha. So the Pirates of Penzance actually show up later on at that island, and they go after Mabel's sisters in one of the wackiest rape sequences.
The wackiest gang rape that's ever been put to film. We mean implied.
Yes.
Implied rape, because it's the whole like, oh, you brute! Ha, I'm gonna get ya! And they're like picking ladies up and
surly men
them over
chasing
here.
women. Like
And like there's like obviously problems with the whole idea. And there's literally like the sisters looking at the pirates being like literally asking for it. Like, I'm not
There's a couple
even
of them
using that phrase.
No, I think that was the implied joke, is that the pirates are running around and they're each grabbing a woman and flinging them over their shoulder, and they're going like, no, stop. And then there's like the one woman in the center of it all, and she's going like, oh, no one's picking me up. I think that was meant to be the joke, but that just wasn't framed very well.
Yeah.
It was kind of just like background
It was a big
action.
like mishmash. Like I said, it was a big minefield of like, I didn't know what to look at.
Yeah, this movie was clearly released right in the midst of when like rape jokes were considered, super wacky. I mean, there's one line that I wrote down that is a real groaner, and it was before the dream sequence even happens, where she's like on the boat, and Frederick, who's not Frederick yet, but he's playing like
the sword instructor.
And it's all like,
Pirates used to really operate around here, raping and pillaging.
God, I'd hate to be pillaged.
Yeah.
the implication of which is what? Oh God, fucking 80s screenwriting.
Yeah. What happens then?
I don't know. Hijinks ensue.
Hijinks ensue until Frederick and Mabel stop the assault on the island by saying, "Oh, my father is the major general."
Wait, her father is a major general?
Her father is the major general.
Did you know that her father was a major general?
Yes, her father is a major general.
Oh wow.
Our father's a major general.
My father is a major general.
Major general? That'll do it.
Yes, he's a major general.
Yes, he is a major general.
Yes, I am a major Major General!
Oh,
Yep.
father's the Major
There's a whole bunch of that going on. And then he shows up and he does...
He does a cover.
He does.
Yeah.
Well, he does Major General, but he changes some of the words out. And I think they were actually... My bet, I wasn't listening terribly hard, and I don't know the original songs that well. My bet is that all of them changed the lyrics. Probably.
I assume they would have to, otherwise, like, they wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah, but it is. It's they're updating it for the 80s. Yes, throw out this ain't your daddy's Gilbert and Sullivan.
No, I think my favorite line was,
Man, I'm older than the Beatles, but I'm younger than the Rolling Stones.
they're really
Older than
going
the
for it.
Beatles, but younger than the Rolling
that
Stones.
possible?
So 1961. I don't know. I pulled that date out of my ass, but like presumably there's a very small window where you can be older than the Beatles, but younger than the Rolling Stones. Really, it's only a couple years at most, and even then, I gotta look that up to verify that.
Yeah.
But it's fair to say Major General is like the most popular song from this
think
musical,
so.
right?
Even if you don't know the musical, like, you know that song.
Yes.
And, like, you might not even know that song is from Pirates of Penzance.
Totally, because it's just popped up in so many
Yeah.
things.
But
But
the
yeah,
balls on them to, like, if we're gonna
Yeah.
ape a lot of stuff from Pirates of Penzance, we're gonna take the most popular, well-known song from it.
and then make it our version
Make it our
and
thing,
throw
'cause-
in like
and, like,
Because you
So
can't sue
openly.
Ted Hamilton.
So openly, like, changed the lyrics. And I was like, okay. Like, at that point, I was like, I'm not sure what I'm watching anymore. Like,
Yeah.
But look, as someone who did the Major General song once, while I was in theater school,
Stop bragging.
for an audience of maybe 50 people. The thing about that song is that yes, it's a patter song, and you don't necessarily need someone with a good voice, but what you need someone is you need someone to do that who has a tremendous sense of rhythm. And the guy playing the Major General in this is he's turning like the wackiness up to 11, but because of that he can barely do the song. And what's impressive about Major General is if you can say every word accurately and crisply and get all of the joke, because the Major General song is filled with like cutting, witty references to like
the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
that people,
exactly.
they actually weren't far off the mark, because I think the Major General song is referencing stuff that people, when that came out, they'd be all like, how witty, Harold.
Yeah.
But, like, okay, this is the fucked up thing about what you just said about how he couldn't deliver that song. Is it's a movie, so presumably he recorded the song separately, and all he had to do on the day of filming was show up and mouth the words and just do his physical shtick.
No, they filmed this
Right?
live. They
And
filmed
it's
this
like-
live like Les Mis.
It's-
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, it was such a fucking hot mess. It was a hot mess. Because then also, not only do you have this general character doing this thing, whatever he's doing, you also have all the pirates, all the sisters, like, dancing in the... I'm using, like, air quotes right now. Dancing in
This
the
is, like,
background.
Moving in tandem.
Trying to move in tandem.
Yeah, and, like, there's just... I don't know.
Well, but
Not
barely
really an
anyone
excuse.
bothers to lip sync in this. I mean, the entire opening number that we were talking about that
It's
plays over
ADR.
the credits,
It's
not a single pirate is singing. It's just a song that they're playing over the action, and that happens with a couple of the songs where you can hear like the chorus doing their bit, but if you look at the actors in the background, no one's singing, no one's bothering, because no one could give a damn on this. This is just a big, it's just a big party. Look, it looked like a fun set to be on.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Before we started watching the movie, Kaz also let Jameson and I know that there were some Gilbert and Sullivan songs mixed into, like, original music.
Yeah.
And Jameson was like, oh, you're gonna have to tell me when those, like, Gilbert and Sullivan songs, like, pop up.
And
Like, the first song had synth in it. And I was like, I think we'll
all the
know
ones
the
that don't have
difference.
all the ones that don't have synthesizer in it are going to be the original compositions. Yes. So the pirates back off, or they say they're going to like leave the island. or
Well,
whatever.
the thing from the opera is that all of the pirates, the pirates' weakness is
They're
orphans.
They're all orphans.
They're all
so-
orphans, and so if you say you're an orphan, they're all like, well, I guess we won't kill you because
Yeah.
we love orphans. Yeah.
Yeah, but
which is silly, but like it makes sense within the context of the very old
works,
opera that we're watching.
Yeah. And then it drops like one of the biggest fucking groaners in the movie. What does the token black pirate say to him?
Anchor?
Yeah, it's just like,
Come, lads, we've a ship to float. Free her keel and raise that chain, Dad. Not anchored. No, Sam. Just disappointment.
Which, and like that, this movie is filled with jokes like that like,
Real dad jokes.
you gotta think about them though.
Yeah.
And the more, and like, after you think about them and you get it,
it stops being
no,
funny.
it just makes you angry.
Yeah.
Because it's all like,
Anchor
Are
sounds,
you
you movie.
Anchor sounds like anger. And it's like, like, if you, like, what's that thing? Dissecting a joke is like dissecting a frog. If you want to know how it works, that you do that, but it also kills the frog in the process.
Yeah. I'm just like easily this movie could have been 20 minutes shorter.
I thought you were going to say this movie could have been 20 minutes. Both are accurate
Also true.
statements.
I fucking wish this movie was 20 minutes.
There was a point in like one of the later like fight scenes that had just gone on for like 20 minutes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, I think I zoned out, and then I was like, oh, the movie's still happening.
Yeah, this movie, and not to jump ahead, but this movie does end with an almost like 20-minute shenanigans-filled
Like Benny
fight.
Hill style.
Fight scene. At the end of it, it's all like, man, finally this is wrapping up. No, we still have 2 more musical numbers after that is over.
Yeah. With a lot of fourth wall breaking, a lot of like, weird. It's like the ending to Blazing Saddles, where they crash the other movie sets.
An hour and 45 doesn't seem terribly long, but you watch something like this and it's all like, man, this easily could have chopped off 10 minutes.
If you've ever watched a bad movie, you know how long an hour and 45 minutes can be.
Yeah.
Like
We've watched several.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's our whole thing. So the pirates go away, but then they drop anchor outside of the cove or whatever, so they're not really going away.
Yeah. Mabel goes to her dad and says, I want to marry Frederick, but because he's poor, the general won't allow him. So he says, well, what if I can get you like this treasure that the pirates have, the ancestral treasure that they stole from you? Then he'll allow it.
Yeah,
They'll
the
allow
guy's
the
like,
marriage.
well, he's poor, you can't marry him. Well, yeah. And he hates the pirates because they
Stole his treasure as a kid or whatever. Yeah.
Sure.
plundered their family.
Yeah. So
Come on, these are very important facts.
These are important plot
Yeah.
points. You're right. Thank you for reminding me. Yes.
So Mabel and Frederick sneak aboard this ship at night to
Swim from the beach
swim
to
from
the pirate ship.
to retrieve.
There's a lot of that. They hit like the speed up button that Frederick did
the
earlier.
speed ramping.
I
Yeah.
forgot.
Look, every once in a while, this movie does have a funny gag. Like
Yeah.
when Frederick is in the boat and he sees the sisters for the first time, he jumps into the water, and then we see him swimming away, but the footage is sped up so that he's like, it's good. There are some visual gags in this that are genuinely very funny.
I mean, there are so many gags in this movie that eventually a few of them are going to have to be funny.
Yeah.
Like, it's the law of averages that eventually one will
It's
make
packed
you-
in there. It's
Yeah.
packed.
So they go aboard
The pirate ship?
to retrieve a treasure map.
That is tattooed on the back of the Pirate King.
Yeah. So Mabel has to seduce him and like.
Shockingly, this is not in the Gilbert and Sullivan.
Ted
Believe
Hamilton,
it or not.
Ted Hamilton just wanted to
He
take
just
his
wrote
shirt
it.
off.
He
and-
wrote that part in, yeah.
let people know that Ted Hamilton still
Yeah.
got it at age 40.
So there's,
So she's seducing him.
This scene
while-
goes on for a bit long, but it's helped by the fact that Christy McNichol is absolutely
She's
charming.
so charming in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
I
great.
really
Like when
like
she's
her.
sitting on, like, do you know what I mean? Like this movie is trying to kind of sell itself as like a sex comedy, but Christy McNichol is kind of too innocent and like
actually
winsome.
endearing.
Yeah, totally. Like you don't really want to see her be
Yeah.
like sexy in stages of undress. She's kind of too
Yeah.
goddamn charming.
Yeah,
She
there's-
actually just really, like,
Yeah.
by
There's-
golly, likes this guy.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
really nothing sexy about her. It's so like, oh, wait. Stand over there and pose for me. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's so good. Oh, I'm so in love with you
I really
now.
like that because the whole joke is that she's getting him to flex, but then Frederick is behind him and he's
Copying the map.
copying the map, but just her sitting on the bed just going like,
Oh, this is just perfect. Oh, those muscles. Oh, I'm gonna faint. That's so good. It's perfect. Just a little more to the left. Oh, that's great. Oh, yeah, I like that. That's good. That's good. That's very good. I like that. Oh, that's so good. Oh, I love it. Oh, God, I can't stand it anymore. If you don't stop, I'll die.
That's
Like,
getting me hot.
I love it. Yeah, I
Well
love that.
done,
But there's
you. Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
nothing sexy about it, and like
No.
that's what
He's
makes
so
her so
greasy and
yeah, and that's what makes her
Ugh.
so charming in this movie.
And then they actually pull a thing that's very Shakespearean, actually, which is like the bed trick, right? Where she like blindfolds him
Yeah.
and like blows out all the candles and sneaks away. And she's like, "Oh yeah, just lay on the bed. Come find me." And like she sneaks away, and then the maid Ruth comes in and like ends up sleeping with the Pirate King, which comes into play again later.
Yes.
Which is a very old theater thing,
Yeah,
right?
and is the only actual form of rape that is in this movie.
Yeah.
It just happens to the Pirate King.
Oh, 100%.
And he's fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he finds out, he's all like, "Oh, all right, cool."
Oh,
They
wow.
kind of do this thing where I don't necessarily know if they were trying to build Ruth up to be like, oh, she's like the older woman. Oh, she's like desperate and stuff.
I felt so bad for that.
Yeah. I mean, you feel bad for that character no matter what version of the story you're watching, because that's...
Well, I mean, to
the
me,
trope.
like, it was a whole, like, the whole 80s thing again, right? Like, it happens in a lot of, like we were saying when we were watching, like, a lot of John Hughes movies where you see, like, oh, the fat, ugly, old person, but they're, like, just a normal fucking person.
I
There's
honestly...
nothing ugly or gross
I
about this
hate
woman.
that.
Like,
I hate that.
I didn't grow up with a lot of John Hughes movies. I came to a lot of them when I was an adult. Man, those don't hold up very well, do they?
No, I mean,
They really
they're
don't.
pretty, like, some
Home
are pretty
Alone's an untouchable
recent.
classic, but other than that, like...
yeah, 16 Candles on the other.
Yikes.
Oh boy, yeah.
So I mean, like, it for me, it kind of really lives true to its 80s-ness.
Yeah.
You know what also lives up to its 80ness? The sequence where they go to dig up the buried treasure.
Hells
Holy
yeah.
Wait,
fuck!
is it called Pump and Blow?
Pumpin' and Blowin', the undisputed best song in the entire
The
movie.
sexiest jam that this movie throws at us.
Just to keep on going. I'm done. I've had enough of bumping and blowing.
All right, so I want to go back a little bit, because I talked about this at the beginning, but I want to go back about this. So this movie was nominated for 9 Razzies, and it won 3. It actually tied Worst Director, Terrence Young for Inchon, which is a movie that no one remembers. Here's the thing about the Razzies, is that particularly in the 80s, every movie that won, like, Worst Picture, Worst Actor, or whatever, no one knows what these movies are anymore.
Yeah.
Because they only came out at a certain time, and they have all faded from memory,
Yeah.
much like the Pirate movie.
Razzies is a great place for you guys to mine for movies.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe,
Yeah, we
yeah.
have to. Yeah, we have to go like really obscure, but like I think this is the first big Razzie winner that we've ever really covered
Okay,
on
yeah,
this.
that seems about right.
yeah. The Razzies are also a bullshit organization
Yeah.
that they really don't. You aren't really looking
Yeah.
for the worst, though.
Yeah.
You're just
Worst-
doing the best punchline.
Nominated for Worst Actor, Ben Affleck for Batman vs Superman,
Yeah.
and like he was not the worst part of that movie.
Best Supporting Actress, Tyler Perry in Medea's Hanukkah, or whatever,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But anyway, yes, this won Worst Director. It won Worst Musical Score, which is kind of weird, because half of it is literally just Gilbert and
I was into
Sullivan.
the musical score.
And if there ever was, you know, proof that the Razzies are full of bullshit, it won Worst Original Song for Pumpin' and Blowin'.
Oh,
Which excuse me,
me to the core.
I am calling shenanigans on that
Absolutely.
immediately.
I got
Pumping and blowing fucking slaps.
I got some strong words for the
Touch
Razzie Committee.
me deep. Oh,
I'm just smiling because I know in my head that, like, when I start editing this, like, I'm going to underscore this entire conversation with the full-length version of Pumpin' and Blowin'. I'm not cutting that out at all. That's going to underscore this entire conversation.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I think Ted Hamilton and the producers of the Pirate movie might have a solid gold lawsuit on their hands.
Little Mermaid.
For the Walt Disney Company, because this movie came out several years before Little Mermaid, and it's got the octopus with, like, the bass guitar, it's got, like, the trio of, like, soul singer, like, fishes in the
Yeah.
background, like, it's
Yeah.
literally under the sea.
Listener, just to paint a picture for it, they have to find the buried treasure underwater. So Frederick walks with a diver helmet on,
But
and
just
he's
the
tied,
helmet.
just the helmet,
Yeah.
and he's accosted by these cartoon fish and octopi as he's, digging up the treasure. He must have the bends because he has to be hallucinating these cartoon fish in the middle of the sequence.
But Jameson, he himself is a hallucination.
Yeah.
We're going through different. I think the producer.
Real fucking deep.
I think they
Deep,
have
like where that treasure was buried.
They got a lawsuit on their hands for Little Mermaid and Inception.
And
There are all sorts of stuff that at the Genesis started in the
we should
pirate
also
movie.
mention that this is a duet because Mabel's up on the boat.
Yeah,
turning
manning the bellows,
crank
actually.
Well,
for
it's her song. He doesn't sing in the song.
Oh.
It's her song, and
I thought it was a duet.
Well, if she's
Am I
doing a
crazy?
duet, it's a duet between her and the cartoon fish,
And
who are
then-
her backup singers.
And then maybe my favorite way that they've ever filmed any underwater scene is he's not actually underwater.
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
just moving
Yeah.
slowly
Yeah.
on a regular beach.
They get the treasure.
Oh, it was just like a dollar store plate.
Yeah.
Like a shiny, like chrome.
So they return the treasure to the Major General, and he says, "Oh, well, okay, Frederick, you're all right in my books." And he says, "Great. Well, to get this treasure, I had to sink the pirate ship. So the pirates are probably going to be pissed and are going to be invading the island. So you better get your army ready."
He didn't. That's the thing. Is like after they get the map from the Pirate King,
He
he's
didn't need
all
to sink the
no.
boat.
He didn't need to sink the. He actually created more of a problem for himself
piece of
by
shit.
sinking the boat.
After saying, oh, well, is he like living up to his duty of like killing them all?
No, because he gave them all
he,
life
he
preservers.
gave them all life preservers.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here is his chance to enact his revenge and like live up to his promise to kill the pirates, and he doesn't do it.
He puts life preservers on. He's like, well, they're my friends. But it's like, pick a lane, Frederick. Either
Yeah.
you want to kill the pirates or you want to be buddies with
Yeah.
them.
But
Like,
as we've seen in this movie, like, you can swim across the entire fucking ocean
Yeah.
and not die. Because, like, Ruth does it, Frederick does it, Mabel does it, I guess the entire pirate crew does it.
but they wouldn't have even known. Like, they weren't aware that they were on the ship. They wouldn't have known he would have gotten the treasure in the first place if he hadn't sunken the ship. So
Well,
really, he just completely fucked himself over.
Actually, what it was though is that they started making out on the pirate boat, and then the parrot rats them out.
right?
Yeah.
Because they're just too attractive. They can't stop. They can't stop smooching.
The parrot wakes up all the pirates.
So the Pirate King makes it back to the island.
Yes.
And he and Frederick have a very zany, Mel Brooksian style sword fight.
Now, you were saying in the intro that if this movie were made today, it would be like one of those god-awful, like, epic movie, scary movie type things. This sword fight is the one time... Well, no, there's two times where it treads dangerously close to that because they're having, like, a sword fight. Frederick gets his sword knocked away. He turns around, he looks at it. What happened? No, he hears fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then all of a sudden his sword it turns into a flat-out lightsaber.
The Force, Frederick. Remember the Force.
Did I teach you that? Nah, I saw it in a movie once.
Because that was in the public consciousness at the time.
It was. That was a movie that was popular and in theaters, and so we're gonna reference it.
Yeah.
Thank God this movie isn't filled with that. They only do that once, and then they do it again in
The last fight scene. In the
with
movie.
Indiana Jones, which came out the year before, so that's actually closer to epic, because the thing with those fucking epic movies is just like, one movie just came out. Okay, just reference that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even a reference. They do the gag, the sword fighting gag from Indiana Jones where he takes out the gun or shoots the sword
Yeah.
fighter.
Saber,
And again,
Yeah.
it's that fucking reference, that absurd reference humor where it's like, we're not making a joke here. We're just doing the thing again.
Yeah.
In the hopes that you as an audience member will sit there and go,
Oh, yeah.
I know where that is.
Yeah, yeah.
That's from that other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is what I said. I said that when we were watching.
This movie was made for you. It really speaks to you.
I feel like that big fight scene, that first fight scene, that's when they really started leaning into the fact, like, the real, like, nudge, nudge, wink, wink,
Yeah.
looking into the camera, and, like, Ruth is reading the book that's, like, famous pirate movies or whatever.
Famous movie
Yeah.
fight scenes.
And
yeah.
then, like, there's just a stock photo of, like, it looks like an old Errol
It's like-
Flynn or whatever
yeah.
movie, like a swashbuckler film, but, like, it only shows up, like, the one time. Why? Like, to remind audience, like, remember back in the old days when there would be a sword fight in every movie? Like, this harkens back to that. Like,
don't forget you're watching a movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was really weird.
A pirate movie, no, nonetheless.
And then, like, they would, like, take a break and, like, drink, like, a cocktail or whatever from a butler that just happened to
that
be
butler
standing
was
there.
working overtime.
That butler was a pro.
The Major General's butler gets my MVP of the movie because the dude has
He's
no
good.
lines, but like that is a solid butler. He's always got a tray of like delicious blue Hawaiians.
Yeah,
it looks like.
Yeah, he pops up out of a pond.
Yeah, he walks
Yeah.
out, like, he aerial walks out of the water.
But again, that is yet another dream sequence within this dream sequence. This shit keeps happening.
Like, the movie just is allowed to get away with that kind of shit because it is a dream sequence and nothing has to make sense. Fuck you for questioning everything that happens in this movie.
I mean, if you're making like a dumb, silly movie like this, it's the perfect framing device because it's like early on in the first 5 minutes, we're just saying, look, we know this movie's stupid, all right? We wrote it, okay? We're aware of the fact that this is fucking dumb, and we're throwing in pop culture references here. I will give the movie credit; it doesn't overload it with pop culture references. It is a weirdly accurate parody of Pirates of Penzance that every once in a while tries to do something modern and transgressive, and it doesn't fit together very well, and it takes you out of it. But by that point, they're already on to like the next 5 jokes, so you don't have a lot of time to sit and think about why it doesn't work.
Which begs the question, who is the target audience for this movie? Like, it can't be fans of Pirates of Penzance. It can't be music theater nerds. It can't be like, you know, the like general audiences, because like this is a very niche subject for a movie. So who the fuck is this movie for?
I don't know. I mean, the fact that the actual legit Pirates of Penzance movie came out 6 months after this, I'm like, okay, well, that's the movie for like hardcore Pirates of Penzance fans. Saying that sends.
It flopped too, right?
It flopped as well because I don't think there are too many movie-going people who are hardcore Gilbert and Sullivan fans in 1980.
Yeah.
Let alone today.
This was just Ted Hamilton's plan to sabotage that movie by taking a lot of the wind out of it. So coming out first, kind of souring public opinion on Pirates of Penzance. He sabotaged the movie that turned him down for the role of the Pirate King.
Like, I think it was definitely
Was it worth it, Ted?
It was absolutely worth it. Nobody turns down Ted Hamilton.
It was definitely one of those movies where it started, and once I kind of saw what was happening, like after the like bait and switch where they're like, it's actually in a TV show, and now we're like in the 80s. I was like, okay, this is one of those movies where I just kind of have to let the whole experience just wash over me, and I just have to stop asking, like I said, all my notes were like, why this, why that, but like, you know,
it's a real just go with it movie.
Yeah, at some point I stopped writing notes because I was like,
it's not going to help you. Yeah. So the fight ends with the Pirate King revealing to Frederick that he still has a couple of years on his contract because he was actually born on a leap year. So technically,
he doesn't have a couple of years. He has like decades.
He has a
decades.
lifetime. Yeah. Because like according to the leap year laws, like you're actually only 4, which is not how fucking leap years work.
That's actually a very fun song from the original where they have like that's like explained in like a big musical number, and it's all like a paradox, a most amusing paradox. Paradox.
So he joins up with the pirates again. Mabel goes to her dad and says, like, you gotta, like, assemble an army, but I guess he's a drunk and can't lead them.
Yeah, this is a weird thing where she's like, well, also he's revealed himself to be a coward, basically, in, like, his opening scene or whatever, but she's like, you have to lead the army against the pirates, and there's, like, this big reveal. It's all like, oh, you're wasted, aren't you? It's all like, all right, fine, I guess I'll lead it. But it's like, he's acting exactly the same in every scene he's in.
Which means he was always drunk the entire time.
Which I completely buy.
Yeah. But she decides to blackmail him by like, you have to, I'll lead the army.
And I won't tell people
I won't rat you up for you.
I won't tell people you're drunk right now in the confines of your own house. It feels like her only leverage is, I'm going to tell people you're day drinking.
Yeah.
Which, all right, bit of a faux pas, but, you know, whatever. It's my house.
Yeah.
It's my house, Mabel.
God damn it.
Yeah. I'm a retired Major General. I deserve a little brandy with brunch. So she goes out and meets some English bobbies.
Yes.
Okay. Legit, my favorite part of the entire movie, the best cast, like, I think they were
the best
probably
choreography.
Actually, musical theater actors. Like, Great choreography, great dancers, great timing.
And this is the most accurate part to the Gilbert and Sullivan thing is the Bobby song. In the operetta, they're super wacky, goofy characters as well, too. So, yeah, I think they looked at that and they just kind of realized, let's just, like, turn the wackiness all the way up and make them, like, super bumbling. But other than that, they really haven't changed that at all.
Yeah. Yeah,
but give them some, like, prop, like, gags and stuff.
The prop batons that they kept going back to that well a couple of times.
Of course, they're gonna get all flaccid at one point.
When they're all cowardly.
Yeah. So this is a perfect example of something that couldn't be trimmed because, like, Mabel comes up on a horseback and she's all like, all right, you English bobbies, we're gonna go fight pirates. And they're all like, you're a woman, you can't tell us what to do. And then they, like, saunter off. And then for some fucking reason, we get a we get this 5-minute extended bit where Inspector Goddamn Clouseau, played by the same actor who plays the leader of the cops,
because they couldn't get Peter Sellers.
I think he was dead at this point.
Oh, well, that's why they couldn't get him.
Which is probably why.
They tried.
And also, he would never be in this.
Yes.
R.I.P. But this actor just, I think, honestly, what must have happened is during lunch one day on set, this actor they hired to play the Bobby, I do a fucking killer, Inspector Clouseau. And they're all like, great, fucking
write him on.
Get this man a trench coat right now. But it's not funny. And
not
it's
really.
just, it's like, okay,
so long.
we get it.
About these parrots.
Parrots?
Parrots.
Oh, the pirates! Well, they're on their way to the castle, led by the Pirate King.
This Parrot King, does he have a nurse?
A nurse?
A nurse! A nurse? What do you think this is, a parrot?
Parrot?
A parrot! Polly, what's a cracker? Stupid kid.
I guess this is another epic movie bullshit thing. Yeah. It's just more than a cameo, because I guess it's referencing another famous movie franchise that would have been very popular in the 1980s. So yeah, this is all
for
like,
some reason.
Hey, remember this thing? Yeah.
Remember the Pink Panther? Yeah.
And it's stupid. But then she leaves him.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. He never comes back. And then she goes and she gets the bobbies, and they're all like, all right, I guess we've changed our mind. We will follow you. And then they go back to the house, and then they're like, no, just kidding, we're gonna go hide. And then she, like, turns around and is all like, okay, I guess we'll go with you again. It's just like, God, fucking chop and channel, people. This is going on much longer than it needs to.
So the pirates storm the mansion of the Major General. Is that what happens, or am I jumping ahead?
No.
Who could care?
Yeah,
who could care?
So
the sisters and the bobbies all kind of like prepare for battle.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that. I wish there was that's a missed opportunity for a nice 80s montage. Like a battle prep montage.
You think this movie didn't have enough montages?
I'm just saying they could have cut some
a lot
other
of
shit,
love montages.
and it would have been a good montage.
No, that's true. That's true. This movie does good montage.
Before we get too far, we've also, I think, totally skipped over a lot of the glamour shot sort of music video duet.
It's a little hard to describe in a podcast, but we'll take a crack at it. You want to take a crack at it?
Sure. I mean, when Frederick, to me, it was like the pinnacle of 80s duets. It's kind of like that last moment in Summer Nights in Greece, where you have like both of their faces, like the lovers' faces, in the sky, and they're singing this
kind of a crossfade with like the rolling tide and everything.
Exactly, and this is after Fredericks decided that he has to, because he's a man of his word and duty, he has to go back to the pirates, and they realize they can't be together, and I don't know, Mabel's aimlessly wandering around the garden.
He keeps finding swords in the garden and like dropping swords in the garden.
This is after he has walked fully into the lake. Which was so weird.
There's a weird thing where he's walking on the water and then he falls into the water. I don't know. There's so many jokes that just go nowhere.
Anyways, so to me, that was also like an 80s highlight for me.
I said earlier off mic that one of the original songs from this actually charted. Now that I'm on Wikipedia, it's actually much less impressive than I made it out to be. The soundtrack album reached number 166 on the American Billboard 200, while the single How Can I Live Without Her, which is the love ballad
that
Frederick sings right before Mabel sings her love ballad, peaked at number 71 on Billboard Hot 100. Considering the movie it came from is still weirdly impressive.
Yeah. I mean, hey, same race, right? Doesn't matter where you play, same race.
I don't think that's true at all, but okay. Yeah, and then hijinks
ensue. Yeah,
Pirates invading the mansion, castle, or whatever.
Yeah,
calling it a castle.
There's
but it's just some guy's big house.
It's like a mansion.
It's a
with
very
his problematic Indian servants.
Yeah, you know what was very problematic about that fight scene was the sequence where the Bobbies are beating on.
Oh my God! Yes,
collectively beating on one of the cops, and then turn to the camera and cover.
There was a collective shock between all three of us when we saw that. That is way too prescient for a moment.
I mean, like, essentially, it's like a police brutality joke,
yeah,
gag, like in the style of like a cop's.
Does anyone
scene,
remember
like
what the I mean, none of us were alive, but does anyone remember what like the political climate was in 1982? Like, how did we feel about? I'm assuming we all still thought cops were bastards, but like, what was there any like one particular moment that happened? Rodney King was much later, I think, right? Yeah.
What about
the LA riots were later?
What was that state college?
I'm sure something horrible must have happened, but
no, there was like some incident like that was protesting the Vietnam War, but that was during the Vietnam War.
Yeah, but it's like. It's like, but it's so weird how that joke plays like a body cam joke, even though that's not at all.
I don't even really want to make jokes about it.
No, it's not. The movie shouldn't have either.
Mm-hmm. No, I think at the I don't know. Yeah, it made me like deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah,
especially in like this new consciousness we are going through collectively right now about racism and police brutality and anti-blackness in the police force and in society in general. And it was just...
Were they beating up the black pirate?
No.
They weren't.
I don't think
that would have been too much.
That would have been...
Even for the 80s.
Oh, even for the 80s, that would have been a little bit too much.
Really
but I mean, like, part of me was like, at the moment, even though we were, like, the three of us were all like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, part of me was like, okay, is this movie actually trying to be smarter than, like, any other point in like the rest of the movie that's happened so far?
Is this like the one piece of commentary that's trying to like sneak in here?
Is this actually commentary amongst this like slapstick bullshit?
I don't think so. I think this is just a joke in bad taste.
Yeah. Moving on. Defund the bobbies.
Yeah.
Tarantara.
So the fight's not going the way.
That was my attempt at trying to make a joke out of this.
That was great.
I think it worked great.
Let's just leave it at that. We're not going to do any better than that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Holy shit. So Pirates have the upper hand in the battle. Frederick, does he switch sides?
Frederick does nothing.
He does nothing.
Frederick is
the
useless.
Dad comes in. The general comes in on his horse.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, this is all happening. Like in the
gymnasium,
in like an old timey gymnasium with like medicine balls.
And
it looks like the school gymnasium with like modern day like gymnastic equipment, but also like one of those old timey like strongmen barbells.
Yeah, circus men strong.
So we're not really sure where we are, and this is all part of like the mansion. And then the dad literally rides in on a white horse.
Yeah, because we're in full, again, like you say, we're in full Blazing Saddles territory here. So it's all like that movie ended with like a big, to the point where someone wheels out. This is how this movie tries to like subvert expectations. A big Italian chef comes out with a tray full of pies.
Yeah.
And the pirates literally stop and they go, not cream pies. And then the chef goes, no, pizza pies, and then they have a pizza pie fight.
It was
apropos of fucking nothing.
That fight needed a couple of cowboys fighting against the bar.
And the pizza chef came out immediately after the Indiana Jones gag, which led me to be like, is this a reference I'm not getting? Like, is this from a movie that?
Yeah,
I don't think it was.
We needed to see one guy dressed like the Pope fighting another guy dressed like a Hasidic rabbi.
It was so weird. It was such a weird moment.
Yeah. So the conflict is resolved when Mabel remembers that she's dreaming. in the most contrived bullshit, like
she
I want a happy ending to my dream.
And it's not like she wakes up.
Yeah.
She's in the dream still, and she's like, "Oh, I am dreaming,
and so
I'm going to like lucidly."
A really weird moment happens where they're all kind of like cornered by the pirates, and the Pirate King is acting like menacing and stuff, and he's like, "We're gonna murder you," and then all of a sudden, like this red wavy filter just over him, just over that one shot, and it's like, oh, she's waking up now. But then it immediately goes away, and she says, "Wait a second, I'm dreaming. This is my dream. I want a happy ending. You dance with you. You dance with you." And it's like, why was that filter there? We do remember that we're in a dream movie.
Yeah.
You don't need to remind us.
I bet it was like the editor accidentally put his coffee cup on like on a keyboard key. Like, oh fuck! Oh, final print! Oh shit! Maybe no one will notice this.
That's how movies were made.
Yeah.
With hilarious misunderstandings.
But yeah, like the movie ends with like an upbeat song called like I Want a Happy Ending.
Give me a happy ending.
ending.
Which was also nominated for Worst Song at the Razzies. And I just want to say,
Rude.
It was robbed.
Yeah.
It was absolutely robbed. That's a much worse song than Hoppin' and Blowin'.
Right?
Yeah.
And it didn't even come with any animated characters.
Yeah, they should have brought back the entire cast. Let's
let's
look in on those cartoon fish. I want to know what's going on with them.
This is also the scene where it's revealed that the Pirate King was raped by Ruth.
Yep.
And he's
cool
weirdly
with it.
okay
Surprisingly
with it.
cool with it.
Yeah. So in the end, Frederick and Mabel, they get together. He's got his bitchin' white suit on.
Man, we gotta talk
Holy
about this
shit,
suit.
like, yeah.
The fucking like all white
with
tuxedo with like
purple cape.
It's a white cape, but it has like a purple lining.
Yeah.
Kaz has already committed to wearing this if he ever gets married.
100% in on that. My future wedding will be pirate movie themed.
Yeah.
If I fall in love with a woman, she'll be wearing what Mabel's wearing. If I fall in love with a man, I guess he can wear what the Pirate King, because the Pirate King didn't look too bad either. He had a Captain Morgan like pastiche going on. Yeah,
matching suits.
Yeah. But only the groom gets the one with the cape.
Well, what about the other groom? That's what she was saying. Matching suits.
Right. Yeah.
I thought
you meant for like the
it would
groomsmen.
really truly have to be true love. To share that suit with somebody.
Oh, or like a connected cape.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Love.
What? A connected cape?
Like on one end it's like attached to your shoulders.
That's just a big cape. A big cape that
Is
two
that
people
a
can
thing
wear.
that
I wore a
exists
cape at
in
my
fashion?
wedding.
Yeah, but was it connected to Stephen?
I mean, no, but I mean, if I asked,
Yeah.
I'm sure
I
he
am
would have been cool with
okay,
that.
like, because there's really nothing else to say about the pirate movie. I want to get to the bottom of this. Are connected capes a thing? Have you seen that happen?
I've not ever seen it, but why can't it?
Is
be
it just an
big?
insane idea that you've come up with?
Maybe.
I mean,
I think it might be.
How hard can it be to make something
It's
like
like-
that? It's just a big cape.
Okay.
Do you want me
You
to?
know, like
Do you
those
want
old-
me? Do you want me to cut this out of the episode so no one else steals your amazing
I mean,
tandem cape idea?
look, if I see it, and it is like post dated at like to this
Sure.
podcast recording day, then I'm suing the fuck out of that person.
I'm just gonna do
You know
a
what,
quick Google search for double cape.
I get the feeling in the very near future you're gonna suggest to your husband that you renew your wedding vows,
Oh, 100%.
just so you can
And knowing
walk down the
Steven,
aisle with that matching.
I'd
or
say
that
it's a
double cape.
50-50 chance that Steven would be down.
Nice.
And like it's like those hand fasting kind of ceremonies, except it's a cape. And
Just swaddle the
your
human
entire
forward.
body.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not seeing anything that's like describing the thing that you're making.
A
But
double
this is
cape.
good. This is a good idea. I mean, it's impractical as fuck, but I kind of want to see it happen.
This is how we're gonna make our first millions.
This
We're gonna,
is our first merch idea.
Yeah, we're gonna market like
Double
the cape for two.
double cape.
The tandem cape.
The fuck is this tandem cape? I'm really into this idea.
It's just
Got
a
our
bed
logo on the
sheet
back and
tied
everything.
around each person's neck.
Oh man, we got our logo on the back and everything.
And then Mabel wakes up.
Yeah,
and then
and-
Mabel wakes up on the beach.
And,
she's presumably been passed out for over an hour, so
But she's
brain
wearing-
damage.
She's wearing Frederick's ring
That's
from
right.
the
it was
dream.
real, except like that guy's name is not Frederick, and
And he just comes up to her on the beach. Like, she's passed out on the beach, and he walks up to her and just like starts like laying them on her.
Yeah, you've had 5 words with this guy. Yeah, you envisioned him in your crazy, fucked up Gilbert and Sullivan cleaning to life fantasy, but like in real life when you wake up, it's like fucking stranger danger.
Yeah.
Let's fucking like head down to McDonald's, get like a nondescript burger and a plain white wrapper. Come on.
I do also just want to really quickly throw back to her fight outfit. That was like like it was like little white ankle booties, like satin hot pants, like pink hot pants, and then like a open slitted sleeved like pirate blouse, and it was the most 80s pirate situation I've ever seen. And she's still rocking this mullet, this 80s mullet, but with
better
ringlets.
than he is.
Yeah. It was great. I really liked the fashion in this movie. I was really
great
enjoying.
Costumes.
Yeah, that was maybe the bobbies and the costumes were probably my favorite things about this film.
I think my favorite thing about this film was that one gag with the battering ram when they're about to knock down the door to the mansion. But all they do is they run up to the door and then they use the battering ram to like ring the doorbell.
That's the closest they come to like a good Mel Brooks style joke.
And then the one pirate goes, Avon.
Yeah, of course, yeah, because we can't, none of these
timely
jokes,
Avon.
none of these jokes can be subtle. Yeah, no one knows what that is anymore. I barely kind of know what that is.
It's an Avon reference, kids.
Yeah. I just want to know, going like all the way back, there was just like one prop that I wish got a little more love because I genuinely don't know what it is. It's at the very beginning, and Ruth has like this device made out of skulls.
Yeah.
And it looks like she's putting something into it, and she's closing one of the skulls, and then something comes out of it.
Yeah.
Connected capes? These were connected skulls.
They were.
There were 2 skulls, like, together.
Connected like a cape.
Now...
It looked like she was crushing ice.
It was either crushing ice or she
really
was counting
weird.
coins or something, but it's like, someone spent a lot of time on that prop. It looks like a well-built prop. I don't know what its function is. I want to know more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's used like for a sight gag, but it's a sight gag that no one's really catching.
Yeah, it's a sight gag that goes by so fast, no one knows what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the enduring mystery that will go on. That's the question that I have. But
that's your problem with this
that's
movie.
the one question you're walking away from the
That's
movie
the
with.
biggest question I have of the movie. And now the big question that I want to pose to you two, Leslie, Jamison, would you recommend people watch the pirate movie?
I don't know. Probably not.
I would. And and not any kind of like, you're really going to enjoy this movie, but in a way that's like, I think it's like if you're just like kind of high and you have nothing else to do, and like you've watched everything that you want to watch on Netflix, and
which
like,
at this point is true of all of us.
It's like, go for it. What the fuck else are you doing? It'll make you do what I did often in the movie and turn to your friends and go,
what do you think?
Why? What's going on? What's
Why?
happening here?
Why?
But I don't know, like it's a parody movie, but I can't really recommend it to fans of parody movies like, Hot Shots or The Naked
no,
Gun
this is not on that level at all.
But like,
no.
Yeah,
I think it's doing its own thing.
Yeah, I think I don't know who I can recommend this movie to.
Yeah, it is. It's not as good as like the Zucker Brothers, but it's not as god awful as like the scary movies of the world or whatnot. It is tepidly right in the middle.
Like I would recommend it because it is so weird and unique and totally doing its own thing. And like I would say 75% of the jokes just don't land or go anywhere. But like the other 25%, it's like,
it's pretty funny.
All right.
It's funny. It's cute. I kind of see what they were going for. Maybe if it was a little funnier, like genuinely funnier, I would have recommended it. I don't know. I'm kind of flabbergasted.
I guess I wouldn't say I would flat out recommend it to people.
Yeah.
There are certain friends of mine that I'd be like,
totally,
you would totally be into this movie.
Yeah, it's a theater kid movie.
Yeah.
Just, don't recommend it to anyone who has like a deep love of Gilbert and Sullivan. I was about to say my mom would hate this movie, but actually, the more I think about it, I think my mom actually probably would get a bit of a kick out of this movie. If I know her taste a little bit, there would be plenty of moments where she would just like scoff and go like, "That's not how they do it." But yeah, it's a light recommend for me. It's funny. There's funny stuff in it.
Yeah.
Watch it for pumping and blowing low.
Absolutely.
Just
yeah.
YouTube that scene. Like this is the movie that I would recommend to the same friends I would recommend watch The Room. Right? Like,
sure,
Okay.
yeah.
right? We're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's so bad that it's like doing its own thing and it's kind of enjoyable
It's
in that
not
way.
even that bad. Honestly, it's
On
weirdly
the level of like,
competent in some
like
points.
it's much better made than The Room or like a Neil Breen movie. So
I mean,
again,
like, when
I can't recommend it to my friends who are fans of bad movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
It's watchable.
I mean,
Yeah,
like
it
when
is,
they're
I
on
guess.
like the pirate ship, like that's a good set. That is a pirate ship set. So
Yeah.
like, it's
There
not
was
like
clearly a budget behind this movie.
Yeah.
With that opening sequence with the pirate fight, there's many shots that include a dolly.
it's impressive when you remember that like they rushed this movie into production so they could beat the other legitimate pirate movie, and under those circumstances, it looks pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Honestly, there is money behind this. So
Like, I mean, as long as you take with a grain of salt, like, the racism, the sexism, the, like, homophobia.
that I would argue
okay.
that I would argue is prevalent in basically every movie that came out in the 1980s.
totally. Yeah, and, like,
HBO's
even
going to
once-
have a warning at the front
Yeah.
of this
Oh,
movie.
God.
Totally, right? Like, it wouldn't be for anybody that, is, I wouldn't even use the word sensitive, but like, aware about those sorts of issues and
Yeah.
like,
I
would
think
be
if
offended.
you're-
But like, if you're into weird movies,
Yeah.
I think this is.
I think if you watch
watchable.
this movie
Totally
and at the
watchable.
end of it you're like, well, I am offended, maybe just stop watching
Yeah.
movies. Maybe movies aren't
Maybe
for
you got
you.
a pretty
Yeah.
low threshold for like what
Like, I mean,
offends you.
like I
yeah.
said, like this is very much falls into that 80s-ness of like we don't really give a shit about people of color or like LGBTQ or anything. Like let's just make a
It was
fun
not
movie.
even that. I don't know. I
Yeah.
didn't even notice that many gay jokes, honestly. And they were pretty
Pretty tame.
tame.
Yeah,
Yeah,
compared to like some of the shit that happened in 2020. Yeah, for sure. But like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, for a movie called The Pirate Movie, there could have been way more gay jokes in this. So,
Oh, yeah.
like we'll give it that
Yeah.
tiny little gold trophy.
I was expecting.
Well done, you.
I
You're
was
not as horrible as you
Yeah.
could have
You're
been.
only
I really was
slightly
expecting this
homophobic.
to be like a very gay movie.
Yep.
Could have been gayer.
Could have been way gayer.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
I
our
could've-
that's our final take.
Yeah.
Pirate movie could have been gayer.
Yeah, not gay enough, I say.
I could have gone with more gay
Yeah.
on that.
Leslie, thank you so much for coming on the show
Thanks
and
for
being the
having
guest.
Thank you for lending us your time.
It's doing such a late night.
Yeah.
Yes, it is very.
Keeping
It
you
is.
away from your
we
family.
have
Yeah.
just cracked midnight currently right now. So, thank you for coming out after you put your adorable daughter to bed to come out and watch a silly movie
Yeah,
with us.
she was pissed.
Yeah.
Well, that's Dad's problem tonight.
Yeah. Dad's mountain biking. For the
Yeah,
weekend.
because of
Who's
course,
watching the
yeah,
kid?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine.
This is the moment where Leslie's like,
Gotta go.
I gotta go. Bye.
Gotta go
Right.
return some videos.
Yeah. You got anything you want to plug or anything you've watched recently that you really love and recommend and want people to check out?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any work right now because.
Well, none of us do.
Hell. You know what's been really good actually is Michaela Cole's I May Destroy You on HBO.
I've heard really good
It's
things about that.
fucking
Yeah.
fabulous. She's so amazing. She's an amazing actor, writer, and it's a show chronicling her sexual assault. So it's semi-autobiographical, and it's in some ways obviously like really hard to watch, challenging to watch, but it's a phenomenally produced and like acted piece for sure. And it's new episodes are coming out right now on HBO, so I've been watching them. But yeah, I would recommend that.
Cool. Very great.
Yeah, check it out.
Check it out.
will
Awesome.
do.
Jameson, you got any recommends?
I started watching this interview show called The Off Camera Show with Sam Jones. I've never picked up on it before, but it's all available on Netflix, and there's clips of it available on YouTube. When I work, I like to have something on in the background,
Sure,
and usually, like something that's like a very easy listen. Like in the past, I put on like a Ken Burns documentary or a David Attenborough documentary. These are just like very intimate interviews with actors, directors.
Oh, I think I watched one of these.
They're all in
Yeah.
black and white.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And Sam Jones, I guess, is like a photographer for Vanity Fair. So a lot of these big names have like some kind of informal relationship with him already. And he asked, and like he's a very good interviewer because like he asks some like not like really groundbreaking questions, but it opens up the actors to reveal like some some truths about themselves. He's a good listener and he cares about what they have to say.
Sounds like a great boyfriend.
They're just delightful listens, and I like when I'm
cuddler. Share a double cape with you.
So if you're into that sort of thing, check out the Off Camera Show. There's some pretty good, pretty big names in that too, and it's fun here. And I don't know, just not the typical like Tonight Show format for talk shows.
Cool, great.
Kaz, do you have any recommendations?
Oh, you know what? You were the first person to ask me that. I always have to awkwardly transition into just talking about my stuff. Thank you so much.
I think I've offered you. What about you? What do you got?
Yeah. You throw me that bone every once in a while. Yeah,
I'm a good boyfriend.
Yeah. Right now, all the theaters are closed. We're not getting like new movies, and I was kind of like being a little bummed out about that. But what I've realized recently is with the Apple TV that I actually have been watching a lot more 2020 movies than I thought I was going to, but I've been able to get all of the video on demand, smaller independent movies that usually take forever to come to cinemas here. So I've actually been checking off my films of 2020 list a lot more than I thought I would. I've been watching some great independent films. I really recommend a movie called First Cow, which is from Kelly Reichardt. It's a movie about two gentlemen during the gold rush, and they discover that if they in the middle of the night sneak onto this wealthy guy's land and they milk his cow, they can use the milk to kind of set up like a bakery, and it's like this like little like frontier. Not even a town. It's just like in like a mud pile. But yeah, and
like a mine camp.
Yeah, and it turns into like this weird kind of like thriller. We're selling these things, but we can't let like the wealthy guy know that we're stealing the milk from the cow. But we're also trying to like build like a business and get enough money to get out of here. Really simple, really delightful little story. I also really liked Kitty Green's The Assistant, which is one of the most tense movies I've ever seen, where nothing happens. Actually, a lot happens. It's a movie that's very loosely based on a horrible movie producer a la Harvey Weinstein, but the movie's real tip of the hat is that we never see that character. The entire movie is from the perspective of his assistant, and it's mostly her just doing like boring menial tasks, but you realize very early on that you actually have to pay a lot of attention because the movie is actually giving you clues and it's not spelling things out for you, and you have to actually like watch what she does and how what her body language is, and it was enthralling. It was really
platform?
What's the platform?
What's it on?
I don't think it's on any major platforms yet. I was able to rent it on video on demand, but I'll let you know when it drops on Netflix. Yeah, right. So there's that. Yeah, and just a minor plug, I'm still doing Tales from the Lost Galaxy with Alchemy Theater. You can go to Alchemy Theater's Facebook page, and you can find the Twitch streams of that, and we're going to release those episodes as podcasts very soon. Big thanks to
Podstream Studios,
Joel Flynn and Luke Schuss over at Podstream Studios. Make sure you check out our Instagram page on the F Is This podcast. And as I always say at the end of every episode, Jameson, you are where are you going?
Nowhere. You do your thing. You do your thing.
I was about to say you're a good friend of mine, and I value our friendship and our time together. I don't know.
Double cape is in the mail.
Yeah. I don't know why you left. You just made things like super awkward.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Well, we kind
Should
of
I
ended
leave
on a.
now?
I think maybe we should all just leave. So thanks for listening to the episode, and you stay frosty,
God,
deputy
son of a
dogs.
God damn it.